Hey, it's Brock Gallant here on Shiloh Bellis' channel. Shiloh is in Cuba right now, which means I get to have some fun doing some interviews, which is kind of cool. And joining me today from Nice Horse, it's Brandi. Say hi, Brandi.
Hey, Brock.
So, Brandi, first of all, how do I say your last name again?
I know, it's a little difficult. It's Sidoryk.
Sidoryk.
Yeah.
So you just
like a good Ukrainian girl.
But you're from Rocky Mountain House, right?
Yeah, I actually was born and raised in Saskatchewan, but my formative years were really in Rocky Mountain House. That's where I spent junior high and high school, and my family is still out there.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about this past weekend that just went by with is it the Alberta Country Music Association? Is that the proper name?
Yes. It's actually the Association of Country Music in Alberta, I believe, is what they say.
And
so yes.
And this is
there this weekend.
It's a new group. This is your, or not a new group, but this is like the first awards weekend. Is that my correct understanding? Is this a first, or has this been going on for a few years?
It has been going on for a few years. The ACMA Awards, they have been going on. We were actually out there last year, participating in the awards. We had played the awards show, but this year we were up for 4 awards, which was really exciting.
And I know personally that, awards, some people may scoff at them. Some people may say, oh, it's a clique, it's whatever. But these are really useful tools for musicians that are still building and breaking into markets across Canada. Tell me a little bit about the value of this type of peer recognition and what it can do for a musical group.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. I think that sometimes we don't want to think of how important awards can be to our career, because as the artists, we're always wanting our music to really shine through to the fans. But I think the awards in particular looking at the pool of talent in Alberta, the other artists and our peers that were up for awards for the awards in Alberta last weekend are so talented. There are so many just fantastic artists that I listen to on a regular basis, but I know that it's tough to get on the radio sometimes, especially as like developing and emerging artists, and so there's not necessarily as many people who know about some of those artists yet, and so to be nominated for these awards actually does put our name on the map, so to say, and it gives us recognition within the industry, which helps move our career forward. I know we're already seeing some benefits from those wins last weekend, but it also just puts us in front of more fans and gives us a chance to share our music with others. Now,
I know personally I discovered a few new favorites just from seeing who was nominated and who was winning. Before I divulge my new favorites, why don't you tell me about some of the artists that you may have discovered or rediscovered, or that you may just want to highlight that you encountered over the weekend that just passed?
Yeah, well, I would say, so I have a great love for Alberta country music, obviously. I'm a very proud Albertan, and I feel very strongly that we have a lot of talent. One of my favorites, I would say, upcoming bands is a band called the Prairie States. I would say we jokingly have been calling them our band brothers, but they are some of the nicest guys, and I think they work so hard, which is something that, especially in my band, we're a bunch of workhorses, pardon the pun, and so we really appreciate another band who works just as hard as we do, and so we really love them. I think we have a lot of great artists in the male artist category. Karak Hendricks, I think he's the Canadian Keith Urban. Like, I think he's
that's a big compliment right there.
Yeah, I do. I really think that. I think he is the this perfect combination of this like great personable guy with great songs, great voice, and he is a ripping guitar player. And I think that that's not actually as common nowadays for solo artists, is to be really great on their instrument and also really proficient vocalist and songwriter. And I think Kerouac is all those things.
Now you stole that was my big discovery from the weekend.
Was Kerouac?
No, was the Prairie States.
Oh yeah.
And it's funny because I did indie country to a certain level for about 10 years. So when I first met Nice Horse, instantly I recognized the work ethic. So for me, it was like straight out the gate. It's like I felt like there was a connection because your band operates a lot, or very similar to the way that my band operated. And then, of course, as soon as I hear Prairie States, I'm like, these guys, there's something there. So we're going to interview them a little bit later on today. But tell me, give me the inside scoop on the Prairie States so that I'm well prepared for my interview a little later on today as well.
Well, you know what is funny, and we actually chat with them back and forth quite a bit. We jokingly say that they're the accelerated Nice Horse, because Nice Horse is accelerated in itself. We've been a band only for 3 years, and we've received a lot of great opportunities in just 3 years as a band. And the Prairie States is similar. They have not been a band for very long, but they've kind of been doing things in a similar route. I'd say just maybe 20% faster.
So let's focus on Nice Horse a little bit. You received a nomination for your songwriting. What was the nomination, and tell me a little bit about the song.
Yeah, so we had a nomination for Song of the Year for the song Mansplaining, which was a song that I wrote with my bandmate Katie Rocks and our producer Jeff Dalziel and Torreya Green from Autumn Hill, formerly of Autumn Hill. And that song was actually, the great thing about that song is that we got a chance to really speak about what we deal with often on a daily basis in the music industry and in our lives, but in a very tongue-in-cheek, maybe almost Saturday Night Live way. Because that's the biggest thing, is we don't want to be a band like that that alienates anyone with our message. We just kind of want to bring everybody in and let everyone have a laugh about it. And that's really what Mansplaining was about. And it's funny because nowadays, and there are a lot of great male artists that, do songs like, there's Dierks Bentley, like Drunk on a Plane, and Dean Brody, making Bannock. And I think they're all like, these kind of tongue-in-cheek songs, and I don't think there are as many female answers to that. And it's great to be able to write a song that is kind of that tongue-in-cheek, having fun, country vibe that is still so genuine to our personal experience.
Now, is it difficult? Because I mean, you've explained it very well. It's tongue-in-cheek. You're not looking to alienate your audience, but it's still a country audience. It's still an audience that has divisions within itself in the old country, new country. Do you find it's difficult as a musical group to do something for yourself when you're also doing music as a business? And not to over monetize it, but I mean, we as artists have to recognize that sometimes we pick our battles. With us, with the Divorcees, it was we didn't want to be a Diet Coke country band. We didn't want to come out and release these, sort of soft, wimpy songs, even though we had written them. We were too stubborn to realize that we should have used those songs. But do you find that sometimes you see backlash on something like that, or that the audience is maybe resistant to a message that you're trying to deliver? Does that come up in conversation at all at the band level?
Absolutely. I mean, we're a band of, and having met us, like we are definitely artists to a T, but we're also businesswomen, and we can't turn either of those things off. It's just happens. And so we do discuss it. And I think it's important for artists to discuss it. It's to really find their place where they belong in the industry and where their fans are. But though we think about it, we really try to forget it when we're writing, because also don't want, we write many songs, and I don't want us to ever be censoring ourselves and perhaps not let something special through because we're censoring ourselves and being like, well, what do we think other people want? We want to first write what we feel is important for us to write, because there being an all-female band, we do have a voice that not a lot of other people have that I think deserves to be shared. And so I think it's important for us to take that responsibility very seriously and write what the messages that we feel strongly about. And we write a lot of songs, and they're not all, they're not all the real strong songs. We always like to joke in Nice Horse, we have feelings too. And and we write those songs too, but we like we want to make sure that we write it all, because then we have the opportunity to choose from all of it. And
So you
and
almost don't want to focus group your song before it's even finished.
absolutely, I don't think as an artist, I don't think we're doing justice to ourselves as an artist if we do that. I think the focusing the songs comes after that. And we can always rein ourselves in afterwards. And I can't believe I'm using this many horse puns in one interview, but we can always rein ourselves in after. But we like to let the creativity come out how it's going to come out as we're doing it. And you know what? The songs that maybe don't resonate to a universal audience right away doesn't mean that they haven't resonated with our online audience and our audience live, because I will say that has been where Nice Horse has really spent the last couple of years building our audiences. We have played a ton of live shows. We've been lucky enough to open for some really great artists. We were out on the road with, our first tour was with Tom Cochrane. We were out with Nitty Gritty Dirt Band and the Washboard Union in 2018. We've had the benefit of getting in front of a lot of people live, and the way we present ourselves online, we've had an opportunity to really reach a lot of people on social media, and a lot of our fans there really love those songs. And so we are finding that different songs for different places, and I think when we think of it that way, there is really a way to find songs that resonate with our audience, depending on where we are with our audience.
And see, that's why for me this was a natural call. We launched this channel as a way to continue the conversation that we have with artists that we love all across Canada, because sometimes a song doesn't get the ad at radio. It's just the way it is, whether it's timing, whether there's not enough open slots, for whatever reason. But we didn't want to end the conversation with these artists that are still building their audience. And so that's why I'm so very grateful that you're taking the time to speak with me. How does social media play in this changing landscape? We're starting to hear stories on the radio about female artists being the most streamed artists for a release of a song. We're even hearing it from the record labels themselves as they're coming in and pitching songs that, this song has 100,000 streams, or, how is this new technology continuing to shape what we do as musicians and how we conduct ourselves in shows and even in online shows? Because you guys, I've seen them. I've watched a few of them. You don't hesitate to throw a party anywhere, which is what I love about you. So tell me a little bit about Nice Horse and your social media presence, and maybe the goal that you have in the things that you do with social media, not even for the benefit of our audience, but maybe for the benefit of other artists who are listening too.
Yeah, and it's funny because we all feel very strongly about how important a role social media and our online presence has played for our career. And the reason being is that when we were starting as a band, we jokingly called ourselves more merch than music, because we were we were friends first. We formed on a trip to Hawaii, and we were writing songs just for the love of music, and we weren't going to be a band. It just happened. And so we didn't have released music. We hadn't planned to be. And so when we really started this band, we were a brand were a group of people that were starting a brand before we even had any music to release to anybody. And we started doing that online. We were able to start our careers before we had even released a single song. And I think that's so important because it really did help where we are now as artists. And our brand is, we're four best friends, we're having fun, we're like, and usually we're up to no good. And that is what you can see on all of our social media platforms. And it's just us. So it's us getting to engage with our audience on a very personal level. It's like we're inviting them to the kitchen party that we film. We're inviting them to sneak onto the red carpet at the Junos with us. We're inviting them to break in to Washboard Union's hotel room at the CCMAs and watch it from there. Like we do that. That's what we do online, and our fans get to do that with us. And we find we've really found our people there, and they've found us. And I think that's like, to any emerging artist that is starting and feeling overwhelmed, because there's a lot to do. Like, especially DIY, and we're very lucky to have a great agent and great management, and we have a team, but even still, we work nonstop on our own careers, and it's just that much more challenging when you're a DIY artist.
That brings me to a question, though. Do you think the online work that you did building that brand early helped you build that team?
Absolutely. I mean, the benefit of that too is that that team saw us online. They saw us. They all actually knew us previously. We had been in projects before, and they knew us and supported us in other ways. But I think it was, part of seeing us engage together online is they saw that we were doing something special. Like, the combination of us was special, and they wanted to be a part of that because of the chemistry of the band itself. And I think it did definitely help. And we did show them that we were making strides on our own, literally just with social media. We were building an audience with that as our only tool for a long time. And developing artists, like, this is something we did that it can be replicated. Other artists can do this. And obviously when I say replicated with your own genuine voice. People just want to really see who you are. I think sometimes artists get caught up in thinking about who they should be, whether it's, they really idolize this artist, and so they tend to emulate that artist in their image. And I mean, a certain amount of emulation is natural. We're human beings, we do it. But I think never losing who you really are, because you've really got to show that to your audience, because people know when you're being genuine, and they know when you're not. And so that's, I think, the power of social media, is if you can be a genuine person online, your people will find you.
So do you think that and I already know the answer to this, but I want to hear you say it. Do you think that taking the time to figure out who you are first before the music came out emboldens you and allows you to stand your ground when it comes time? It's almost like you found yourself before somebody found you and shaped you into something else. Is that something that's important for somebody who wants to be an artist? It's
so important, because you have to be able to stand behind everything you do as an artist, because in the end, you are accountable for what you've done. So you have to be able to be the one that goes to sleep at night knowing that you're proud of how you have conducted and displayed yourself as an artist to the world. So, and there are going to be so many opinions, and people always have an opinion on how you, like, as an artist, how you should dress, how you should sound, who you should be, how you should act. That's feedback that every artist gets all the time, and you can't get away from it. But you shouldn't, because that's one of the joys, is people get to, as an artist, you let people in and you let people have an opinion about you. That's a responsibility you have to your audience and to the people around you. But that doesn't mean you have to listen, and that also doesn't mean you have to change. you just need to be strong in knowing where you stand and what's important to you. And if you are that way, you will come across as authentic to everybody around you, because you will be.
So I guess my next question is, what's next for Nice Horse? Are we going to see you in 2019 on the East Coast of Canada? Or if not, let's tell everybody else in the rest of Canada where they can find you this summer.
Well, I think you know that we have an affinity for the East Coast.
I hope so, because we love you.
Thank you. Well, we love being out there. I have to say, every time, and we actually have not played, other than, the Nice Horse Way, our unofficial shows where we just make a party and make a show wherever we are. We actually have not played an official show on the East Coast yet.
That's got to change.
That hasn't happened. I can't wait till it changes, and we all are waiting. We're so excited to get out there. Every time we've been out there is actually to visit you.
Yay!
So we do plan on coming and visiting you again in the new year. We're hoping to do some shows out on the East Coast. We're going to have a busy summer. We're going to be everywhere. I know we have lots of shows on the books in Canada. We're going to Spain. We're playing.
What?
Yeah, we're playing, the Washboard Union and Nice Horse are going out and playing a country music festival in Spain and going to do dates out there.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, we're really excited about it.
Okay, so let's quickly plug your socials. Where can people find you and follow you online?
Everything we have, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and our website, we're all Nice Horse Music. So nicehorsemusic.com, at Nice Horse Music for all our socials. It's easy to find us at any of those places.
And final parting notes to young or even old, because we all start this crazy game at our own time. Final piece of advice to summarize what we've talked about today for an artist that is looking to help or looking for help trying to discover themselves as they venture into this journey. And in short form, if you can, let's summarize everything.
Okay. In summary, I would say if you're having trouble really kind of articulating who you are as an artist, and you should write it down. Like, you should write it down. Write down your vision, your values, your mission, and what you believe in as an artist. If you're having trouble, because solo artists, I mean, I'm in a band. It's easier. I can ask my friends. Ask your friends. Ask your family. They can help. They know you probably almost as well as you know yourself. And so if you can really sit down and articulate what it is, just write it down on a piece of paper and let that be your guide.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Brandi, for taking time to talk to me today. Please share this on your socials as well, because I know,
absolutely.
I think we have 22 subscribers right now, which is not very much, but we're building slowly, and we're very grateful to you and everybody else that's jumping on and supporting the channel, because this is really for, it is for the audience, but it's also for the artists. We want to get that information shared amongst the artists, because I mean, that's really my favorite part of these conference weekends and these award show weekends, is that you get to hang out with the other artists and you get to share ideas and trade, what's working and what's not.
Absolutely. We like to call it summer camp when we go.
It is so summer camp. And listen, I want you to get on your agent's case about going to play Stanfest. And the reason I say Stanfest is because it is actually summer camp. The artists stay in a YMCA summer camp with bunk beds. Yes. And there's a cookhouse that, I mean, you can get a lobster roll at 2:30 in the morning because they're always feeding you. But you really have to experience Stanfest. Plus, you get the workshops there, and I think that audience would really enjoy you. So I hope that you get out to do the Stanfest experience. At the very least, that we get to see you on the East Coast again. But everybody, Nice Horse Music online. Follow the girls on social media. And new single, anything coming out to radio soon?
Yeah, well, we were touring so much in 2018. Now this year is writing and recording, and we've got some stuff lined up musically.
Wonderful.
We'll be sending to you guys soon.
We're going to share that with our audience. And once again, Brandi, thank you very much for joining me. Give my best to the rest of the girls in the group, and we'll talk to you soon.
I sure will. We love you, Brock. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.